Live from Richmond Raceway in Richmond, Virginia, we welcome you to round number 3 of the Colgan Racing Experience, and we've got a good one on tap. It was our preseason event to begin the season, and it was a whole lot of fun. You'll see a lot of 2-wide racing, maybe even 3-wide at this 3/4 mile track. So glad you could join us on Slide Job Racing Network as well as the Colgan Racing Experience Facebook page. I'm Marty Sakala, joined alongside Nolan Rempel. Nolan, right now the first guy to talk about as we come on into this race, Kendrick Kreyer. He is off to a hot start. 2 races, 2 wins for the driver of the 17.
And trying to go for the hat trick here tonight in Richmond, Virginia, as we'll take it to the 3/4 of a mile short track. It is one of the more unique short tracks we'll see on the iRacing surface, one of very few that's got, of course, that good old D-oval shape, much like the likes of Kansas Speedway, Chicago, and more. Most notably, though, that start-finish line, which is not traditionally in the middle of the front stretch, but right off of turn number 4.
Something else we should talk about, too, is we have got a lot of new drivers that have joined in with us this evening, which means we're likely going to send a couple people home tonight.
We most certainly will. 3 heat races is looking to be over the course of the night. Then, of course, your consolation race. And only, as we expect, 33 going to be able to make it into this one. Top 10 being taken from all 3 heats. And then, of course, we think it'll be the top 3 from the consolation. Of course, we'll get proper official confirmation on that once we get down to it. So that's all going to depend on how many drivers actually compete in these heat races.
Absolutely. Qualifying taking place right now at the moment. We'll get to the race format in just a bit. These set the starting lineups for our heat races this evening. We watch the 17 of Kendrick Kreyer, who just hit the wall on lap number 1, so that will invalidate his first lap time, and we'll have to try it out once again. Currently, your pole sitter is Corey Body in the number 44, 24.19. Trevor Edwards, second quickest at a 24.19. Same with Billy Snodgrass, who's third, 24.19. Jason Snodgrass, fourth, 24.22. Jacob Putnam is fifth at a 24.22. Everyone trying to run the low side here at the moment, gain a lot of speed off of turn number 4. Lap time for Kendrick Kreyer. Where does he go on the boards? Quick time! It's a 24.18 for Kreyer. He currently has pole for heat race number 1. Let's go to the driver of the number 35. This is Kieran Lifflander. Just put lap 1 up on the board. First lap time, 16th quick at a 24.3. Kyle Johnson goes 7th at a 24.22 on lap number 2. So this will be safe to say for Lifflander, our final qualifier. But he decides to call it a lap. And so your pole sitter for heat races will be Kendrick Kreyer and Corey Body here. Let's talk about how the night goes here for Colgan Racing Experience. We've got 10-lap heats set for 3 heat races. Top 10 will transfer out of those heat races. And then we move to our B main. Top 3 will move to the show. So we have got, I believe, a 33-car field for our feature this evening.
We're getting set to kick off those heats within the next 40 seconds or so here. And, of course, the big thing to know, there's no yellow flags to save you if you make a mistake in those heat races or, in fact, to be main. It's all going to be down to if you can put your car with a consistent 10-lap run. The sprint the sprint mentality is so much different when you compare that to the long 120-lap main event that we'll be having ourselves later on this afternoon. And it's going to make it for, I think, one of the funnest races we have it on the season and one of the fastest tracks we're going to be having all season as well.
Absolutely. So we are just moments away from going heat racing here at the Richmond Raceway. And the heat races during preseason testing were an absolute blast to watch. So we have 13 drivers in heat race number 1. Let's give you the starting lineup. Kendrick Kreyer and Billy Snodgrass, a pair of veterans, make up the front row. Kendrick Kreyer's lap time, a 24.180, beats Snodgrass by 13 thousandths of a second. Row 2, a pair of drivers looking to make their first CRX starts of the season. Kyle Johnson in the 73 and Gene Denmark in the 08. Row number 3, Kenny Tripp in the 52. Next to Brandon Kiger in car number 85. Row number 4, Ellie Musgrave in the number 76. and Kyle Martin, McCracken in the number 18. Rounding out the top 10 this evening, Eric Steele in the 32, Jonathan Langham in the 2. Nolan?
Looking down throughout the course of this field, we're going to be having ourselves the likes of TJ DeBlasi bringing up the very rear of the field. Ethan Brewster down in 12th. Steven Wetton in 11th. Jonathan Langham going to be in that 10th position. And that'll round out your field here in this one. It'll be 13 cars for all 3 heats in this one. Tonight makes it very easy to divvy up the field. It's not often we get a field divisible by 3 into such perfect heats like that.
It is not, no. So it's great to see a full field come out tonight for CRX at Richmond. Here's a weather report for you. 73 degrees the air temp, 74 the track temp, wind blowing at 8 miles an hour. So a cool track here, Robert. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, a cool track, Nolan, which means the speeds are going to go up. That's what Robert Colgan wanted tonight.
Nice and cool temperature is going to make it for a very competitive racetrack in this one. 74 degrees Fahrenheit on the racetrack, 73 in the air. Winds a nice calm 5 miles an hour, just blowing off to the south. Not even a lot of humidity in the air, which is going to make this, I think, again, a very competitive racetrack, and it's going to make this a very exciting race from start to finish.
Absolutely. Field rolls off here, 1 pace lap. Our race director this evening for the Colgan Racing Experience, we have both Robert and PDJ Zeller working with us in air traffic control as they will be distributing out the penalties this evening.
2 laps the distance before we go to green flag racing. About a lap and a half now. You can see drivers like Billy Snodgrass really try to scrub the front tires, try to get some heat into them. It's going to be a cold track temp, and that does mean it can be a bit loose on the opening laps. In fact, we saw a few drivers aborted their second laps or even their first laps because they would end up getting themselves a bit out of shape, especially coming off of turn number 2. That's going to be one of the big trouble spots, I reckon, today.
Absolutely. So glad you could join us on Colgan Racing Experience Facebook and on the Slide Job Racing Network YouTube page. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat and what you think of the action here this evening. Again, top 10 will transfer in to the feature, set for 120 laps this evening. Last week at North Wilkesboro saw Kendrick Kreyer take the second win. A lot of fun racing happening in both the long and the short runs. Well, we are set to take the green flag. It's a pair of vets that will bring us to green. Kreyer and Snodgrass Heat 1 underway.
Oh, already stacking up right in the mid-pack as Brandon Kiger getting pushed up and out of line. Kyle Martin works his way for that middle group. We're slideways off a turn. Number 2 down the back straightaway for the first time tonight.
Yeah, that was the 18 of Martin that had a very close call, but Kendrick Kreyer is pulled away from a majority of the field. It's 3 wide for second. Kyle Johnson all the way down on the baby bottom, and that's where all the drivers are going to want to be here tonight, Nolan, as low as they can be.
Already breaking away at the front of this field, going to be the likes of Kendrick Kreyer trying to build up that gap early on and put himself up on pole position for the main event later on tonight. Kyle Johnson works for the bottom. We're going to go 3 wide with Billy Snodgrass way down on the bottom. And it's going to be contact between the number 3 and 4 on Stefan Denmark. Rebounded off the top, and Denmark gets shoved into the wall.
And he goes around, and that brings out the first caution of the evening. Nope, maybe not.
Right. We don't have yellows in the heats.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, big trouble.
6 cars at least involved in this one, and maybe even more.
And that was all a big continuation, Marty, from that initial wreck. It happened when Billy Snodgrass and Kenny Tripp came up the racetrack, and Kyle Johnson got absolutely cleaned out as a result of that deal, and the field was just an innocent bystander as a big hole behind them.
Let's take a look at another look. Let's get a replay camera here. Give you a great idea of what happened. You see the wall impact, and the 08 went around. And then its drivers are just trying to keep it straight. There you see the 99 of Snodgrass. Man, that was a violent accident.
Yeah, no kidding. That was That's just the case, though. Drivers trying to come back up to make the corners. Momentum so critical in a race like this one. That's going to send Ethan Brewster down to pit road, along with others. Eric Steele also effectively out of heat race contention. We leave 11 cars still on the racetrack. I'm surprised that that number isn't lower. So I'm thinking Billy Snodgrass will be having to fight this one out of the consolation, unless he can fight TJ DeBlasio and Kyle Johnson, who are scrapping it out for the last transfer spot.
Now let's look at this closely here, which is the race for ninth. Kyle Johnson, TJ DeBlasio. This could allow Billy Snodgrass to close in. But remember, look at the damage DeBlasio has compared to Snodgrass. There's a front bumper missing off that Auto Owners 19.
And you can tell that they're struggling with damage here big time, and DeBlasio missing the entire front clip, whereas Kyle Johnson kind of just dented up all over the place, and Johnson almost gets up into the outside wall. Noting that Snodgrass not really able to close in the gap all that much to these two drivers up in front. He's closing it a little bit, but at the current rate, not nearly enough to overtake them within the next 3 laps.
And that's what a racetrack like Richmond does to you with full throttle. Very tough to close in on an opponent when you're going just at when you just keep the pedal down onto the floorboard. So that's the race we're all watching. Kreyer is off turn number 2, meanwhile, with 2 laps to go, a 1-second lead on Kenny Tripp. Back to that race for the 9th spot between DeBlasio and Johnson. That last time by, Snodgrass was better by 800, as we've got 1 to go in Heat 1. Meanwhile, Kendrick Kreyer down the back straight for the final time here in this opening heat. He'll start on pole, have a good chance to go 3 for 3 to begin the year. Kreyer takes the win in heat race number 1. And now we go to the race for the final transfer spot. And Nolan Snodgrass has closed in on DeBlasio and Johnson. Is it going to be enough?
Don't think it will be. DeBlasio to the inside into turn numbers 3 and 4. Johnson hangs it around the outside. Here comes Snodgrass with a run out of turn number 4. Too little, too late. DeBlasio takes the final transfer.
And 1 more lap and Billy Snodgrass makes it into the show. But that will do it for Heat 1. Heat number 2 coming up shortly. Let's give you the starting lineup for this one. Nolan?
On pole position, it's going to be Corey Bodie with Jason Snodgrass to line it up on that front row. Mike Ashby going to be down in 3rd with Bo Brady to round out the top 2 rows. Bob Eldred and Kieran Lifflander are going to be in 5th and 6th with James Johnson and Edmund Jones in 7th and 8th. And Marty, it is Travis Sukup and Kyle Bartels to round out the top 10.
11th, Brad Ebley. 12th, Josh Doobie. And 13th, I don't think he'll be with us this evening. I believe he is in race control. And that is JJ Day, which I believe is up in the race control. Corey is saying in chat that trading paints is not working for us. We'll try and get that updated during the warm-up session. Then we'll try and get all the paint shown. Keep in mind with a 40-car field, it's always tough. Sometimes trading paints can be very slow.
Oh, of course. It's something that will no doubt be brought up a few times over the course of the night. One that, again, we'll try to rectify that very quickly here. This pace car going to take us around through turn numbers 3 and 4. 1 lap to green this time by. That got hectic in our first heat race. Do you reckon, Marty, this second heat race is going to go any different?
You know, I think it could be the same way it is. You know, when you see something to begin a race, that's normally a good signal of how the race is going to be the entire night. Hopefully we don't see it in Heat 2, and hopefully we don't see it to begin the feature, but it could happen. So we've got Corey Bodie, or Body. Corey, confirm to us what your last name is, by the way, how you pronounce it in the chat. And then Jason Snodgrass, the outside of row 1. He had a vicious crash in the preseason testing at Richmond. Head-on collision in turn 2 in the safer barrier. And it has sniped a lot of newbies behind him, but we're set for the beginning of heat race number 2. The pace car is in. Barney's got the green flag in hand. We're underway. And Bodie's got the advantage, but 1 and 2 up in the wall already. That's Lifflander in the 35, along with the 88 of Kyle Bartles. Everyone keeps it going, but losing time early. These are pace laps at speeds of about 140 miles an hour. Nolan, I believe it was Ashby that gets credit for leading lap 1.
It was Ashby to get credit for leading that opening lap, but only by 0.03 of a second. And that came in because Corey Bodie got loose coming out of turn number 2 on that opening lap, opened up the door for Ashby to shoot one down the inside into turn number 3. And Mike Ashby going to make himself with a huge run coming down the front straightaway in towards turn number 1. Might get some help here from Bob Eldred.
Yes, Eldred was a competitor last week in the late stages at North Wilkesboro. However, though, could not get the job done, did not make it onto the podium. Final spot currently to Kyle Bartles. Sends it in deep on Lifflander, and we got one around, and that's Bodie in the 44.
0-0 for Corey Bodie from the penthouse to the outhouse, and that'll send the 44 car right down to the tail of the field with a lot of work to do now to try to improve himself back up, and only about 6.5 laps to fight his way up towards that final transfer spot. But other than that, looking to be currently fairly clean. Brad Ebel and Joshua Dube, the two drivers fighting it out for that podium position at the moment. You just take a look at the replay.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there. What happened is Eldred was trying to save it. You know, both of them nearly went around, and that puts Bodie back into 12th. And the winner in this, whoa, hang on.
Trouble.
That's the transfer drivers, Abley and Doobie, go around. That was the race for 10th, and there goes Bodie past second chance. Hallelujah.
It's never a bad idea to stick in a heat race. Never know what could go down, as that's going to be huge for the transfer spot, and that happened because Brad Ebel got loose off of turn number 2. You'll watch this one here. See the back end kick out. There's just nowhere for Doobie to go, and that's going to send them right down to the tail end of the field, and I think that might be game over now for 11th and 12th.
Absolutely. So Bodie's got it in as of right now, a 6-second advantage on Doobie. We watched the race for the lead still with 4 to go. Bo Brady in second. Just about lost it. Jimmy Johnson's crashing off turn number 2. It continues to be Calamity Corner. He falls back to 10th, but, oh, Doobie's coming off turn 2. This may not be over yet, Nolan.
We'll see how much damage James Johnson has on his number 39 car. Not enough to send him down to pit road. So that's some good news for Johnson. At the moment, he's got himself about 2 seconds back to Joshua Doobie that he'll have to try to fight this one out with. 2 laps to go this time by, meanwhile, for race leader Mike Ashby.
He's got a half-second advantage on Bo Brady. Edmund Jones third, Travis Suka fourth. Kyle Bartles races Jason Snodgrass for the 5th spot. Bob Eldred in the 7th position after getting loose at the start of the race. Lifflander underneath to take the position away, and they nearly got sideways as Lifflander puts into turn number 3. We're coming to the white flag, Nolan.
Final lap. Mike Ashby working down to turn number 1. It is no contest. Bro Brady and Edmund Jones still fighting it out for second.
As they work their way down the back chute, everyone single file, knowing that they are in the show. Through 3 and 4, Ashby picks up the win in heat race number 2. Brady second, Jones third, Suka 4th, Bartles 5th, Snodgrass 6th, Eldred 7th, Lifflander 8th, Bodie 9th, and Johnson 10th.
And that's going to send us down to that third and our final heat race before we set things up for the consolation here in this deal. And that'll bring us for the last 13 cars we've got here before we'll be able to eliminate our bottom 3.
Trevor Edwards and Jacob Putman make up the front row, a pair of drivers looking to make their first CRX starts. Chase Johnson and Matt Pelletier part up in row 2. Row number 3, Benny Hogan next to Aaron Raymond, and in row number 4, Stephen Rex and Drew Chance. Nolan?
So we move down through the field. Trevor Bowen going to be in 9th with Will Pruill. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Down to the 10th position. Nick Jezebowski going to be down in 11th with Don Jordan at 12th. And Arthur Hendren, after not putting down a qualifying lap, going to be down in 13th.
So there you see how the field of 13 look again. Top 10 transfer to the feature. Everyone else will move down to the B main. Will be our first B main of the season. So some good racing so far in the early stages of things, but Nolan, we've just seen a driver or two just get a little bit too aggressive in the heat races. And that just sets up rivalries early.
Oh, it does. Absolutely. Especially with the collision that we had earlier on, between Ebel and Doobie for the final transfer spot over in the last one. And that saw both of them eliminated from that third heat race. You're right. I think they're going to come together again in the consolation.
We'll just have to see what goes down. Lights are off. 1 lap until we take the green flag at this 3/4 mile racetrack. Over 10 degrees of banking here at Richmond. But any groove here is possible. But obviously everyone wants to go the lowest way around, even if it's a shallow entry. So it's Trevor Edwards and Jacob Putman to bring the field to the green flag.
The turn numbers 3 and 4 will enter the Geico restart zone. Edwards jumps on the loud pedal. We're underway for heat race number 3.
Good starts by both Edwards and Johnson. They're able to clear Jacob Putman early. Here comes Aaron Raymond and Oxby Pelletier on the 27. Up the racetrack he goes. I think he made contact with the one Nolan. And in the wall goes Pelletier. Johnson looks for the lead on Edwards.
Actually got into the 77 of Putnam first off there, and actually was able to be avoided by Aaron Raymond. So that was good news for Pelletier there. Not a lot of damage still within the transfer spots as we work our way off of turn number 2 down the backstretch.
Raymond and Hogan door to door for 4th into turn number 3. Raymond started in the 6th spot, so he's off to a good start in the dropping bombs number 10 ride. Final transfer spot currently belongs to Will. I want to say that's Poole in the number 36. I had the 82 of Nick Jezebowski. Edwards around.
Edwards around, tail end of the field, and sorry, that's Hendren around at the tail end of the field into the inside wall. Was all the way out of the transfer
Pelletier.
spot. Oh!
I think he got hooked from the 36, and Steven Rex actually also went around and collected the 68 of Trevor Bowen, which now puts Jezebowski and Jordan into transfer spots.
Arthur Hendren trying to reel in that gap as well and run them down, and we'll be able to keep tabs on that throughout the course. And now we can look back up to this fight here as we'll actually take a look at the replay here. This is coming off of turn number 4. There you see Rex and Bowen both going around. Hard hit to the outside wall for Rex there.
Absolutely. And I don't know how Pelletier didn't send the 27 around either there. That was a lot worse than we thought it could have been. So we continue on with racing here. 5 laps to go. You're watching the race for 3rd. Jacob Putman and Aaron Raymond. And Putman's ranking that 2nd groove work, and there's some slight contact between him and the 10.
Oh! Look out! Up the racetrack goes Aaron Raymond, hooked by Jacob Putnam, and that's going to send Raymond into the outside wall, but able to hang on to the number 6 spot, so he'll get himself back sorted. He'll just be a bit further down come feature time.
Yeah, he's not going to be too happy either with the 1 as Benny Hogan sideways off at turn 2 for a moment. Drew Chance wants an opportunity to make it into 4th. Remember, 1 position you gain up in the spot in the rankings here, Nolan. That's 3 spots in the feature.
Each spot is absolutely critical as we see Drew Chance trying to look to the inside of teammate Benny Hogan. Ended up going nowhere. And Benny Hogan to try to maintain that run in fourth. Drew Chance hanging on for fifth, right in front of a charging Aaron Raymond, who's going to be looking to get to the back end of Putnam, who's about 3 cars up the road.
But we've got Trevor Edwards all over Chase Johnson. This is the race for the lead. Down the back chute. I think Edwards wants to stay patient and may pull the bump and run on Chase Johnson here. Coming to the white flag, Nolan. There he goes. Edwards underneath.
Going for the race lead into turn numbers 1 and 2. Trevor Edwards to the bottom. Johnson trying to pinch him in. This is the fight to see who will start on third and who will start sixth in the main event, side by side down the backstretch.
As Edwards sends it in, here comes the one of Jacob Putnam. That's all that Trevor Edwards needs. Last lap pass, Edwards wins Heat 3. And the final spot in belongs to Trevor Bowen. Don Jordan did not make it into the top 10. I'm not sure what happened. He may have run out of fuel or something.
Oh boy.
And everybody's going to make the show here, actually.
There you go. 39 cars making it to the feature. This is going to be packed. You don't often see NASCAR Cup Series grids when you get the, obviously all the iRacing NASCAR leagues. You barely get that kind of field size when they come out here. We're in street stocks.
Hey, NASCAR, take that. So, all right, we're going to mute our mics here. When we come back, it is feature time here at Richmond Raceway. Stay with us. So warm-ups are in the books with Aaron Raymond the quickest, but we are set to go for our feature this evening. Let's meet the field. Here is the starting lineup. On the front row, it's Kendrick Kreyer in car number 17 next to Mike Ashby in the 00. Row number 2, Trevor Edwards of the 098 and the helmet, Kenny Tripp in the 52. Row 3, that is Bo Brady in the 3 and Chase Johnson in the 57. Row 4, Stephen Wetton in the 28 and the 51 of Edmund Jones. Rounding out the top 10, that is the driver of the number 1, Jacob Putman, and next to him is the 85 of Brandon Kiger.
Travis Sukup going to bring it up in the 11th position with Benny Hogan down in 12th for row number 6. Row 7 holds Kyle Martin and Kyle Bartels. Aaron Raymond and Stefan Denmark going to bring it up on row number 8. Row 9 holds Jason Snodgrass and Drew Chance. Rounding out the top half of the field, it'll be Jonathan Langham and Bob Eldred.
Row number 11, Paris Matt Pelletier in the 27, next to Ellie Musgrave in the 76. Row number 12, Kieran Lifflander in the 35, and Nick Jazaboski in the 82. Row 13, Kyle Johnson in the 73, and Corey Bodie in the 44. And row 14, Will Pruill in the number 36, and TJ DeBlasi in the 19. And rounding out the front 15 rows, Jimmy Johnson in the 39, and Trevor Bowen in the 68.
We move down to 31st place where Billy Snodgrass brings it up in 31st. Joshua Dubé going to be in 22nd. Stephen Rex is 33rd with Ethan Brewster in 34th. 35th place holds Brad Evo with Arthur Hendren in 36th. Eric Steele, James Day Jr., and Don Jordan round out the field.
120 laps the feature here this evening. We should be in for a good one. Well, Nolan, I'll ask you this for the heck of it before we go green. Got a pick to win?
Honestly, right now, none whatsoever. This field is so stacked. It's a very long race we've got at a momentum track. Draft is going to play a big factor in tonight's race. I'll get back to you when we're about 20 to go.
All right, sounds good. We've got all the train paint schemes here figured out, so we appreciate your cooperation and patience to get all the hot paint schemes loaded up here. They make their way through 3 and 4. As we say, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Kreyer looking to go 3 for 3. He's on pole position. It is showtime in Richmond. Oh, trouble with the back. That's the 36 of Pruill. And he spins below the apron. We stay under the green flag for right now. Not the start that Hardy's ride wants. Left one led by Kendrick Kreyer.
We work our way through turn numbers 1 and 2. Looking to go potentially 3 wide for the race lead as you had Trevor Edwards look for the inside. It is still Kreyer, though, and Ashby to be side by side for the lead off of 4.
2 by 3 by 2 all over this racetrack. This is a fun start. Now it is 3 wide. Edwards underneath looks to go 2 for 1. Kreyer gives him the room off at turn number 2. What a move from the 098 to move up to second. It's 2 by 2 entering turn 3 here, Nolan.
You got Mike Ashby falling back to the 4th position now as Trevor Edwards runs with the race lead. He'll lead lap number 3 this time by the stripe. Chase Johnson right behind Edwards now as Edwards trying to clear from Kendrick Kreyer.
Good start to this one all around. Let's ride on board here with Johnson, the 57. He's on Kreyer for P2. I think he's got him at the start-finish line. Let's wait to see what happens. And yes, Johnson moves up to P2. Fastest car on the racetrack is Trevor Edwards. The 2430 was previously Jacob Putman, the 5th place car, and a 2432. He's got a couple of teammates working with him as well in the 50 and the 70 and the 75. That's Mike Ashby ahead of him and Bo Brady behind. Eric Steele has crashed, though, off of turn 2. Same place that Pruill spun, and we stay green.
It's not often you see a car spin out of the backstretch, and we find ourselves still with a completely green flag run. We had another spin a little while ago. Eric Steele on lap number 5 spun down to the apron. He didn't even hit the wall, though. So, again, no yellow flag, and we'll keep things green. We're still side by side. We're about 6th on back through this field. The top 5 have gotten themselves single filed out, and they're starting to break away from the rest of this field here.
Kyle Martin, quickest car on track at the moment. He's underneath for P7 on Bo Brady. You see just how close the drivers are running to each other here at Richmond. It's pretty wild, Nolan, when the drivers go side by side here.
They're finally going to single file things out, though. You really can't afford to stay side by side for too long, not with how important that inside lane is. While, yes, this track tends to be more multi-groove, not so much in street stocks. When you get cars that are not as powerful as these ones, they tend to love to favor the bottom side at a lot of racetracks, and it is the same situation here tonight. Much like how we talked about in North Wilkesboro, they're fast enough that they're able to get a little bit of traffic, but they're not slow enough to be able to actually use it against one another, so you get kind of stuck in these drafting packs, what we've got here.
Challenge for the lead underneath. Chase Johnson on Trevor Edwards. Can the dropping bombs 57 get it? Not off the corner. Doesn't have the drafting advantage. Kreyer decides to go with him in turn 3 and leave the 098 out to dry. Do we have a new leader at the line here at Richmond? It's 3 wide, and we do. Johnson goes to the point. Here comes Kreyer underneath, Nolan.
This hasn't worked so far all night long. Whenever we see somebody that's gone 3 wide, it's usually ended in disaster if somebody doesn't back out. That time, it was Edwards to back out for the outside contact.
Whoa!
Edwards Ashby. Oh, Moll's going around. That was a chop and a half. Edwards clearing himself, and Ashby somehow able to wrestle that thing back under control.
That was wild as you take a look at the front of the field from our aerial shot. All the 2x2 racing. There is some single file racing for 5th and 6th. That's Putman and Martin. Here's a run underneath for Johnson for the race lead going into turn 3.
We worked our way through turn numbers 3 and 4. Trevor Edwards working his way towards the inside line, trying to fight his way back to the point. Chase Johnson still holds on. Kendrick Kreyer has only been able to really lead 1 lap at a time. He's not been able to hold it, though, and that's going to be critical when we get down to the later stages.
Absolutely. They've been side by side this entire lap thanks to some drafting help. Now, if you just noticed there, hang on a second. Edwards 3 wide again for the lead into turn number 1. Oh, man.
Here we go.
And Johnson and Kreyer made contact in turn 1. Kreyer nearly hits the wall, and now I believe it's Ashby that's stuck in the middle 3 wide.
And he's got Kyle Martin down on the bottom, one of the newer faces coming into tonight. Kyle Martin going to maintain that run in the Discount Supra, running up here towards the top 5. He's going to shoot to the inside of Mike Ashby as Kendrick Kreyer will find his way back to the inside, found a hole between Ashby and Jones.
Now, as I was saying here, the drivers are approaching some lap traffic. Will Pruill and Eric Steele, who spun off turn 2, 1 at the start and 1 on lap 5. So that could be a factor and split this entire lead pack up. But Nolan, what I am seeing right now is a 29 car pack. That is about 6 seconds back, but it could end here, and it will. Big wreck in 2, and I think that's Johnson that's involved. Yellow lights are on.
Here we go. Huge wreck in this deal. Hard hit to the outside wall for Edmund Jones. Saw Mike Ashby took a vicious hit to the wall as well. Chase Johnson body slammed the wall. Bro Brady almost flipped over, and somehow it was only those 4 involved and nobody else throughout the rest of this field. Tell you what, they did a lot of good driving there to make that only a 4-car wreck.
Johnson's got the worst damage of everyone. The front bumper is gone, and keep in mind in this series there are no quick repairs. Let's get a better look at what happened in turn 2 here, Nolan, as they were just 3 wide into turn number 1. I think that 75 just got squeezed going in the corner. Oh, there was contact between Edmonds and the other guy.
Yeah. And you see right on the bottom, just the 57, an innocent bystander.
Oh.
Gosh, that is a vicious lick to the outside. You saw Brady get kicked up onto 2 wheels. He almost flipped over in this deal. While yellow flag pit stops are underway, Brady, understandably, into pit road, as is Kyle Johnson. I believe only about the few collected in that wreck, but as well as they got Joshua Dubé, Stephen Rex, Cruel, I see, is in, along with Hendren, Steele, Jordan, and more.
Man, that's a violent wreck from that speed shot off of turn 2. And man, the way that 50 went down low on the racetrack, really put a lot more drivers in it. The majority of drivers that come on in are the wrecked race cars and the battered cars here. But I guess some drivers as well coming in for 2 tires. Keep in mind, this is a series that uses 6 tire sets. Chase Johnson makes his way back out onto the racetrack. He'll go without the front end. But it's Trevor Edwards out in front in the 098. Lights still on the pace car. And while we have some extra time, let's look at a couple onboards here. First guy we'll look at is Chase Johnson.
On board, and just got hooked around. Of all the hits, I think he took one of the softest hits of the outside wall, but that's not saying much because it was still a hard lick that no doubt would have damaged his car. And this is going to be the big one here, down from the bottom side on board with that number 57 car. Hang on to this as just pancakes the outside wall with the driver's door.
That's a driver's side impact too. Let's go to Mike Ashby.
Ashby took the hardest head-on lick into the outside wall. Man.
Violent.
Yeah, understatement right there.
So we're set to come back.
As you can take at Richmond.
Yes, absolutely. So we're set to come back to the green flag. We've got 19 laps that will go up on the board when we take this restart. Trevor Edwards and Jacob Putman make up row 1. Kyle Martin and Kendrick Kreyer row number 2. Gene Denmark, Aaron Raymond, row number 3. Benny Hogan, Stephen Wett in row 4. Brandon Kiger, Kieran Lifflander round out the top 10. We're set to come back to the green. Green lights are back on.
Oh, no, it is not. Race Control held the restart. Pace car will be picking them back up. Race Control deemed they were not doubled up good enough. So we're going to try this one again on the boarded start. Pace car is going to find its way out of pit road and then presumably will duck right back down. So you can see the safety car leaving its post once again. We'll pick up the race leaders. The 098.
I did see as well, Noel, I did see a couple of drivers exit pit road at 1 to go, and they just weren't in their respective gaps. And so
I think that's what the problem was. Just wanted to make sure there's no problems with the running order in this one.
Biggest mover so far early in this one is the 44 of Corey Bodie, who restarts in the 11th, if not 12th spot. All right, we're set to come back to green this time, and here we go once again. And contact for second already between Martin and Putnam as everyone fires, makes their way into turn number 1.
Fighting our way down and up through the back straightaway once again as this field already breaking away for 6th on up. Got Kendrick Kreyer side by side with Jacob Putman, and Putman goes from 2nd to 4th in one run. He's going to fall down to that number 6 spot as a result of that one. We're 3 wide just behind with Kiger and Wet into the middle.
Oh, there we go.
Second hard hit to the outside wall. Ellie Musgrave.
And we got more ahead.
Oh,
the 28 is involved. Brett Epley gets a piece of it. The big one at Richmond has happened on lap 22.
Big one, number 2 in this deal. And again, that was a continuation off of that initial incident, because the driver that caused all of this by spinning out was Stephen Wetton, the driver that hooked Ellie Musgrave into the outside wall, and from there it just clogged the racetrack.
Mentioned Stephen Wetton also involved in that 28. I believe he's put his car, he's got it rolling at the moment. So let's get another good look at what happened here in turn 2. Ellie, I think she tried to thread the needle. I think it's the same situation as the first caution we had in this one. And I think there was some net code as well between Wetton and Musgrave. Not there, though, but the contact prior. And then with Wetton, it just leads to this big stack up. One car with the rear wheels off the ground. I believe that was the 11 of Steven Rex. Let's give you a shot here in real time from the speed shot. Wait for the first one. There it is right there in the background. So all the drivers coming out. Don Jordan, nope, it was fourth off pit road. Kyle Johnson won the race off pit road, followed by Edmund Jones, Jordan Bartles, and Brady. A couple of drivers, I want to say, a four-tire pit stop. And with 52-second laps the drivers are running here around the racetrack, very easy to go for 4 tires in here, unlike the other track we were at last week at North Wilkesboro. Let's watch a couple onboards here. Let's begin with Musgrave.
Again, a hard licking. Right there, that's what I was reacting to. That was a sketchy rejoin if ever I did see one, and one that nearly caused another tertiary incident in this whole deal.
On board Stephen Wetton. Oh, he got T-boned there on the other end. Then another hit from both Abley and, man, he got lit up there in that accident. Let's give you Jazaboski as well. I don't know if he missed the accident or not. Nope, he got in it. He was shoved up the racetrack and came to a stop, and then he got rear-ended from behind. Man, did some of these guys not know that the left foot is for the brake?
It would appear not. Green flag is back up in the air, though. We'll see if the brake pedal will be used much coming down into turn number 1 this time by. Got just under 100 laps left to go. Denmark and Martin side by side for number 2, down into turns 1 and 2.
Denmark, the highest spot he's been in today after starting in the 16th position. And is a teammate to Trevor Edwards, a move that I believe the East Coast Sim Racing boys won to, if not West Coast. I don't know what that says in blue, but race is on for P2. Oh, they hook once again. Man, this is getting crazy. Kreyer doesn't want to get it down low because here comes Aaron Raymond in the 10 for 4th.
You can see Kendrick Kreyer, Aaron Raymond, Jacob Putman going 3 wide down to the turn, numbers 1 and 2. Again, this hasn't really worked out well. Coming down into the first corner, and Aaron Raymond.
Oh, one in the wall.
Putnam.
35. No caution, we stay green.
Not yet.
They were not in.
Out of the way.
That was Liftlander that went around. Is he right on board with Putman?
It's a hard hit to the outside wall in that deal, and he's not the only one. Drew Chance demolishing that deal as well. His Chance will find his way to pit road, as will Liftlander. We remain on board, though, with Putnam as he tries to look for the inside of Kendrick Kreyer, trying to follow Aaron Raymond through.
3 wide once again. This is going to be risky once more. Kreyer backs out of it. I think that's a smart move. Let's take a look real quick at what happened with Liftlander.
Take a look at this one as it was just contact on the back end and then an overcorrection hard into the outside wall. Turn 2, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, I thought that was going to be the trouble spot, and sure enough, it has been the trouble spot tonight as Jacob Putnam once again having to work with Aaron Raymond, gets a bit crossed up out of 2, keeps himself sorted. And all of this is coming with the fact that you have to pinch these cars so much if you want to make that outside lane work, right? You can't afford to just run one lane up like you can in the NASCAR Cup cars here.
Raymond's been trying a lot here to try and take home a win and try and hold off Kendrick Kreyer. Or try and pass Kendrick Kreyer and say, oh, they go with the wall. Wow, that could have been a lot worse. But luckily, everyone kept it straight. Now we got to look at the damage here. I don't think they have any damage. Maybe just some barely on that right front fender, though, Nolan. But other than that, I think they look good. Kreyer just got up in the wall once again. He's back in 6th. Raymond, the biggest loser in that, all the way down to 8th. He wants 7th on Benny Hogan.
Raymond and Hogan gonna go alongside down to turn 1. Can Raymond stick this to the bottom? He will. Can't get clear though. Benny Hogan works to the outside alongside this time through, and Raymond will not be able to clear off for 3 and 4. I think Benny Hogan might be able to fight this outside lane and defend off the 10 here if he can continue with that run around the outside line.
Raymond not able to clear just. Oh, he got turned from Hogan. Sideways, I should say. Stacks the field up further back, but that was way too close once again.
That's street stock racing, and it's close, and boy, is it ever rough. It's a common phrase when it comes to street stock racing. If your car's clean by the end, you're not doing something right, and I think that's a phrase that a lot of these drivers here are taking to heart.
Meanwhile, Trevor Edwards continues to lead by a half second. They work towards a lap car. Can't tell who that is that's going a lap down. Believe that may be Mike Ashby.
It is Ashby.
Tough to tell because some of these drivers put different numbers in on iRacing instead of their custom number. So that's what can make it a little bit tough. Let's watch the best battle on the racetrack, and that is Putman and Martin for P2, what you're seeing. Ooh, and Putman nearly gets turned off the bumper of the 18.
A little nudge, just a little up tap there coming off that final corner. Martin going to give him another little nudge down into turns 1 and 2. Jacob Putman, 77 on the car, scored as the 1. Working for the outside line, down into 3 and 4. Kyle Martin still maintaining a solid run in that 3rd position, but he's, I think, more focused on Stefan Denmark behind, although he won't have to worry about that for too much longer, as Corey Bodie is going to look to the inside, and that'll give Martin some breathing room.
And Denmark lets Bodie go. Gulf Coast Sim Racing teammate, so we just got the team name confirmed there. I saw GCSR. I didn't know what the G meant for just a moment. But yes, Bodie moves up to the 4th spot. What a run he's having. Starting 26th, he's moved up to 4th.
By far one of the drivers that's gained the most spots out of anybody today. And remember, he did start very far up in his heat race. He started on the pole, but unfortunately got wrecked, right, and finished 9th. That's the only reason why he was so far down to 26th in the first place. So I was
trouble.
kind of expecting
Eric
this team
Steele,
up here.
Edmund Jones off of turn number 2, and Brad Epley barely saves it. 3rd caution is out today.
Lap number 42, just past the 1/3 mark, and this one was not without help, as it was contact initially between Eric Steele and Alan Musgrave. Again, that turn 2 wall bites. Mike Ashby was collected in that deal. Ethan Brewster got a piece of it, and Edmund Jones, you mentioned it as well. Hard lick, and Jason Snodgrass, as well as Will Prules, got involved in that, and I think Steven Rex just clipped this grouping as well, and Brad Ebel. We got to get a look on board the 56 of this deal, because holy cow, the 56 took a wild ride to avoid this deal. Look at that hit there as well that the 6 took.
Wow, that definitely took a lot of guys' breaths out, but we'll get to onboards in just a moment, but we've got the leaders in for their first pit stops of the day. We'll watch the number 98 of Trevor Edwards first.
Musgrave has been given the end of the longest line penalty for causing that latest incident. After further review, we'll see if Trevor Edwards will lead him out of pit road. He misses his box. I think that might be a done deal then for Edwards. Might not be able to work his way back out onto the racetrack here. Up on the jacks. Here comes the field. It'll be Stefan Denmark. Not going to beat him off. Trevor Edwards on the two-tire strategy. Going to beat them off pit road.
Denmark goes 2, Bodie goes 2, Raymond 2, Kiger 2, Pelletier, Aldred, Snodgrass. Putman's the first driver to take 4 tires there on that stop. So we'll see if that works. And now before we go back to green, let's touch back on those onboards. Here's Eric Steele.
This is on board with Eric Steele in this deal. And, man, heavy lick. And he's going to take another one right there.
How about Edmund Jones?
Just nowhere to go for Edmund Jones in that deal, and gets hit by a couple of cars of that one. And then the 56 has got to be the one that I'm looking forward to in this deal.
That is Mike Ashby.
Yeah, it was already damaged as well from a prior incident, remember, too.
All right, watch Ebley here.
That's what we call a Code Brown moment in the racing world.
Yeah, that was close for Ebley. Decided to start it from the rear, and his car is taking a little bit of a beating tonight. Those tires took a beating under that yellow with the way he locked those brakes up. All right, approaching 1 lap until we go back to the green flag. And while we are at it, let's take this opportunity to let you guys know that Slide Job Racing Network is your home for iRacing leagues. If you have a league, series, or special event and want exposure, go to slidejobRacingNetwork.weebly.com and click on the Broadcast Inquiries forum. SJRN offers broadcast quality shows at a good price. And if you want to kickstart a career in broadcasting and production, if you have an interest in video production, commentary, graphics, or any other assets that could be valuable to a growing team, contact me, Marty Sakala, on Facebook or Twitter at Marty Sakala. That's spelled C-Z-E-K-A-L-A. So we're set to come back to the green flag. Josh Doobie leading for the first time today. Ethan Brewster restarts second, and he's the only driver that's yet to pit so far today. Trevor Edwards, Gene Denmark, row 2. Corey Bodie, Aaron Raymond, row 3. Brandon Kiger, Matt Pelletier, row 4. Bob Eldred, Billy Snodgrass round out the top 10. We're set to come back to this green flag and put 47 laps up on the board. You see Edwards already down to the apron for just a moment. Probably playing some possible defense to prevent a 3-wide situation from happening. Denmark moves to third. And let's watch Brewster closely. Oh, Kreyer nearly gets spun off the bumper of the 68 of Trevor Bowen. That could have been bad for the points leader.
It's going to be a good run here down to turn numbers 3 and 4 as Kreyer tries to fight his way back through the field all the way down in the 14th spot, but still trying to work his way up. Steven Rex to be with Kreyer as well, a bit deeper in that pack. We look further up, though. This is for Dubé and Raymond fighting it out for 5th place. Is into the outside wall, I think, what Ethan Brewster.
Yep. Remember, though, he does not have fresh tires on that 14 there. Well, completely scuffed up. He has fallen all the way back to the 7th position. As you watch ahead of him, that race for 4th, or rather for 5th. Raymond takes the 4th spot over Matt Pelletier and Josh Doobie.
Way to the inside as Billy Snodgrass that time licked the stamp and sent it on the inside of Ethan Brewster. Brewster has to lift a boy getting into the outside of wall. And Brandon Kiger.
Oh, did you see that there, Nolan? Bob Eldred sending it deep into turn 3. And he's in a 3-wide situation.
3-wide situation here as we work our way Down through 1 and 2, they double it back out just in time.
Oh.
Whoa, Bob Eldred scrambling as he gets into the side of Putnam.
Nice save for the driver of the number 13. We stay under the green flag. 5 cars have broken away from this pack as we speak. They're banging into turn number 1. It's Eldred against Putman in the corner, and I don't think Putman's going to be pleased with that one. Oh, man, this is going to get ugly.
There we go.
Eldred's around. He collects one from behind, and that brings out the caution. And that is Josh Doobie in the 94 that is also involved.
Stephen Rex barely getting around that.
Get another good angle of that once again. Stand by as we'll bring that to you. Turn 2 again. Calamity corner. He just simply hooked there, Nolan.
And Stephen Rex jumping on the binders at the last second to kind of skirt around that wreck on the left-hand side. Good gosh, I mean, this race has kind of gotten a bit more aggressive in recent laps, hasn't it?
Yeah, a lot more aggressive than I guess we expected it to be here today, as we've got a couple of drivers in pit row. Let's show them to you. Edmund Jones, Will Proul, Jazaboski, obviously Doobie, and Doobie had the tough break in that one because he had nowhere to go, nothing else he could have done.
Oh boy. So at the end of that one, we'll be closing in on the halfway point at this point in time for what is this, 4th caution now of the evening?
Believe so. You saw it on the leaderboard. I couldn't get a good look at it on my end.
On board with Ebel. That's about the softest wreck that we've had all night long. Just kind of pushed him along until they came to a grinding halt against the outside line.
And Doobie almost spun Kiger out there as well. But I don't think Doobie has a lot of damage in that situation where he could keep that car at full speed. So while we are at it, while the lights are still on the pace car, let's do our iRacing mid-race rundown. While we are at it, iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of racing from your home. Race virtually in different forms of motorsports and series from NASCAR, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, and over 90 different series. Trevor Edwards, the leader. Jane Denmark is second. Corey Bodie, third. Aaron Raymond, fourth. Matt Pelletier, fifth. Billy Snodgrass, sixth. Brandon Kiger, seventh. Kyle Martin, eighth. Kendrick Kreyer, ninth. And Trevor Bowen, 10th. Nolan?
Travis Suka brings it up in 11th spot, one of the few drivers that still has not moved at all from where he has started this race. Also one of the few drivers with a completely clean race car. James Johnson making up some of the most spots out of anybody, 29th to 12th. Kenny Tripp is down in 13th with Benny Hogan in 14th. TJ DeBlasi going to be at 15th with Kyle Bartels in 16th. Langham, Musgrave, Ebel, and Brewster round out the top 20.
21st, Bob Eldred. 22nd, Jacob Putnam. Waiting for 5 drivers to come out of the pits. Bo Brady, Edmund Jones, Nick Jazaboski, Will Proul, and Stephen Rex. Josh Doobie, 28th. 29th, Don Jordan. Jason Snodgrass, the final driver on the lead lap in 30th.
31st place is going to be Stephen Wett, and then from there we enter the used car lot with Eric Steele, Mike Ashby, Kyle Johnson, Drew Chance. Actually back out onto the racetrack, albeit 23 laps down, trying to make up some extra points. Kieran Leiflander, Arthur Hendren, and then, of course, Chase Johnson out at the tail end of the field. Then James Day, our race controller for tonight.
The field is doubled up here for this restart. Maybe turn the lights back on. See here where Jazaboski merges back out. Check closely, but it's Gulf Coast Sim Racing 1-2-3 in their first ever start with the Colgan Racing Experience. All right, we're coming back to green, and we're going to take an opportunity to shut up while you turn up the volume. It's time to crank it up. 1 lap away from passing the halfway point to bring it 60 up and 60 down. Trevor Edwards hangs on to that race lead. Gene Denmark right behind him in the 08 with Corey Bodie in third. Aaron Raymond in fourth. We've got the race for fifth between Dropping Bombs teammates in Pelletier and Snodgrass, Nolan.
Working side by side down for turn numbers 1 and 2. Billy Snodgrass, Matt Pelletier down side by side for the final spot inside the top 5. Bit of a bobble that time by for Snodgrass on the outside. Gives the upper hand to the 27 of Pelletier. And here comes Kendrick Kreyer, still trying to find his way to go for the hat trick. It still has a good shot to do so as we'll rock it off of turn number 4.
He was the points leader coming on in by at least 40 points. And he decides to go 3 wide. Instead 2 wide, rather, on Matt Pelletier. Let's look at your point standings coming on in. Kendrick Kreyer, a 44-point lead on Travis Sukup. Sukup currently scored in the 13th position. No Austin Edwards with us tonight. 47 back in third. Bob Eldred, 63 back in fourth. Billy Snodgrass is 67 back in the 5th position. But this is the best race everybody's watching right now for P5.
And again, it's allowing the top 4 to be able to break away with a substantial gap from Raymond, Bodie, Denmark, and Edwards, ripping away for the rest of this field. Kreyer just can't get clear. It's always by the skin of his teeth. That time by possibly about an inch before he would have cleared Matt Pelletier, but he got a little bit loose getting on the loud pedal out of turn numbers 3 and 4, and that's what allowed for Pelletier to hang on. Oh, look out, contact! Pushing them both up the racetrack, and that's going to give a big run to the 27.
And a nice save for Kendrick Kreyer after bobbling it, stacked the 18 of Kyle Martin up for just a bit. Let's see if Mick Recken can use this to his advantage to ride on board with him. Oh, contact! Kreyer sideways, Pelletier is sideways, and they save it for right now, but for how long? They nearly hook Kreyer loose once again out of a bump draft. This is insanity, Nolan. How did they all save it?
Bit of skill, bit of luck, possibly a little bit of both as we'll work ourselves down in towards turn number 1. Pelletier work at the top, Kyle Martin down on the bottom. This is going to get a bit more interesting here as Kyle Martin starts to bobble off the corner. Into the wall goes Matt Pelletier, that time by off of turn number 2. Right behind, Billy Snodgrass closing in, starting to get his hat into the ring. And
they hook!
Going with them. Look out into the outside wall on the front straightaway.
And that should bring out another caution here, which it does on lap 67. It's our 5th yellow of the day. And again, happening with front runners, but this time on the front straight for the first time today. So Kyle Martin wrecks it once again. Some right side damage on car number 18. Let's get a look at what happened. We just simply hooked.
Yeah, just got hooked to the outside wall. Very much like what we just saw in the caution on the back straightaway, actually. Just pushed up to the outside wall. Car gets hooked into the outside wall. This time, though, on the front stretch. And that's the first wreck we've actually had all night long that's been onto the front straightaway instead of somewhere on the back stretch.
A couple of drivers make their way into pit road. Travis Sukup and Matt Pelletier. A couple of Dropping Bombs teammates. You have Kyle Bartles, Bob Eldred, Edmund Jones, Bo Brady, Stephen Rex, Kyle Martin, Will Pruill bring their rides down into pit road. And while we're at it, as we work on lap number 69, let's see what you guys are seeing in chat. Johnny B says, what's up? Hope you're doing well. He's having pedal electronic module issues and keeps losing connection, so that's why it's not here. Johnny, we hope you get those fixed as soon as possible, and as always, we appreciate your support. So there's a couple of drivers come in at this moment. Looking at your biggest mover of the race so far. That's currently the 99 of Billy Snodgrass, who started in 31st. He is in 6th. What a run he's having so far tonight, Nolan.
It's been a great run so far for that driver down to that 6th position. Billy Snodgrass, by far the driver that's made the most spots out of anybody. Again, much like what we saw with Corey Bodie earlier on. Billy Snodgrass got wrecked into the opening heat race of the night after starting in 2nd and had to fight his way all the way up from 31st on the grid. If I'm being honest, though, I think if Billy Snodgrass hadn't been taken out in that first heat race, he would have been running in the top 5 all night long.
Absolutely. We'll see if he can recover to get up to the race lead, possibly. While we're at it, let's talk about one of our sponsors of Colgan Racing Experience, and that's Advanced Powder Coating. Advanced Powder Coating is a service in Rockdale, Illinois that can make your metal products look new again. From doors to rims to hinges and more, get a quote today by calling 815-671-7026. Lights still remain on the iRacing pace car. Keep in mind there is no race next week for the Colgan Racing Experience due to the 4th of July week. In fact, Slide Job Racing Network taking the entire 4th of July week off. Is Monday. I've got commitments covering the Super Dirt Car Series at Land of Legends Raceway. Super Dirt Car Series also has been a big supporter of the series as well. Of course, known for Super Dirt Week at Oswego every October. Land of Legends on Monday night. You can watch that on Dirt Vision. That's going to be a great show to watch out for very closely. So 71 laps are complete. So we've got under 50 to go here at Richmond Raceway. Trevor Edwards, the leader, next to Corey Bodie in 2nd. Row number 2, Gene Denmark and Aaron Raymond. Kendrick Kreyer and Billy Snodgrass, row 3. Brandon Kiger and Trevor Bowen, row number 4. And rounding out the top 10, that is Kenny Tripp, who's been very quiet in this race so far tonight, next to Jim Johnson.
Green flag back in there as we hightail it down and towards turn numbers 1 and 2. Already jumping to the bottom was Aaron Raymond, but Billy Snodgrass couldn't get the nose in there. Now he'll be able to, though, coming around the turn numbers 1 and 2, working to the back straightaway. Everybody power sliding off the 2nd corner.
Kreyer lifts the rear wheels off the ground, trying to move him up the racetrack in that race for the 4th position. Continues to be Gulf Coast Sim Racing. 1, 2, 3. Here goes Kreyer. Let's see if he can run underneath on Denmark into 1. Can't get it just yet. As Bowen back in the 6th position for right now in the 68. Top 5 currently single file. Billy Snodgrass wants P6 back, which he has at the line, Nolan.
Working to the bottom is going to be Kendrick Kreyer, trying to make that run for 4th. Didn't end up going anywhere. Billy Snodgrass hangs on to 6th. Brandon Kiger in 7th. Trevor Bowen in 8th. And Bowen working for the inside. He'll get to the back bumper of the 85.
Oh, trouble, turn 4. Hard in the wall. I believe that was De Blasi. And also collected was one of the older race cars. It's Ellie Musgrave. We're under caution again.
Stephen Wetton took a big hit in that as well, drilled right into the door of TJ De Blasi, but I think some good old net code caused De Blasi to not get any damage from that wreck.
2nd wreck tonight for Ellie Musgrave, and that could be terminal damage on the number 76. Here's a look. Yep, that was clearly net code and just ripped the front bumper off. And De Blasi got T-boned by Stephen Wetton. Great call, Nolan, on that side, too.
We go to the replay of this deal, and we'll work in its turn numbers 3 and 4. Looking on board from the speed shot. Man, hard hit into the wall, just shy of the Geico restart zone up in turn number 4. The attrition continues from Richmond.
Couple more drivers come in. Tripp, Hogan, Johnson, Edmund Jones. Let's watch in a slow-mo shot here. We'll put this in slow-mo once the instant begins. Oh, that's a heavy impact. Look at the hood flapping around. And same with the deck lid. And then wait for de Blasi. There's, you see that 28. Boom. Right there. Look at all the debris.
And that's all for the car that hit him, not for the car that was doing the spinning there.
Yeah. Let's watch an onboard here. We'll go with de Blasi. And one more here with Ellie Musgrave. Musgrave had to tow it to the pits. I believe that will end her night tonight here at the Richmond Raceway as you take a look. A good view in the infield. What a virtual crowd here we've got here tonight. I'm glad to see a lot of you all tuned in as well on Slide Job Racing Network. With just about 10 people watching. So thank you all so much for joining us here this evening. Folks, don't forget to tune into RSN Trackside tomorrow night live on the Rock Sports Network Facebook page. Here's Sterling Mariscala alongside Kelvin LaPierre. We welcome back Michael Printup, former president of Watkins Glen International, onto the show to discuss his career. Tune in tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on your home for motorsports in New York, Rock Sports Network. And we do want to congratulate as well Michael Printup after this past weekend at Watkins Glen International. Yet today, day one of retirement for him. So congratulations to Michael on a great career in NASCAR. Wishing him the best down the road.
Should be, what, 39 laps to go when we take the green here?
I think so. So now we've got 39 laps to go. Although we have seen a lot of aggressive racing, a lot of drivers hooking each other. How much does that go up another level, or do the drivers want to get a longer run going here?
I don't even know. I mean, I think this is going to be something to say the least, but I have my pick for the win now. I'm going to go with Trevor Edwards on this one. I think, I mean, he's been strong all day long. He's been up there. Nobody's been able to touch him so far, so I think he's going to be the one to take this into Cadillac.
Well, we will see what happens. Oh, yeah, they do have Cadillac front bumpers. That's pretty cool. We're back to the green flag here. 39 laps to go. You're on board, Trevor. Goes up through the gears. Oh, look at this underneath. Raymond has to let off. He gets loose in one. Contact from Kreyer. Kreyer sideways. This is going to end ugly.
Hang on to her.
Or does it? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, we're not done yet. The 77 gets to the inside of Raymond, moves him up the hill. And Kreyer gives a shot to the shorts of Aaron Raymond. We're able to keep things green. We did have a spin in the background. Benny Hogan went around off of turn number 2. No caution, though. We'll keep it green as this field rockets off of turn number 2. And Hogan's already long gone.
How in the world did Aaron Raymond save it? I don't know. He just had his hands all tied up there. We know that. Oh, we got one around. Or loose, rather. Believe that's the 85 of Kiger that mows the Richmond lawn. He saves it. We're nearly 4 wide in turn 1. 1 up in the marbles. I can't tell who that is. I think that is the 94 of Doobie. But everyone keeps it lean, mean, and straight for right now. Edwards with a 0.2 of a second advantage. Bowen back in the 5th position. Kreyer underneath on Raymond, who tries to throw the block on him, Nolan. These two at it once again for inning 2.
Kreyer goes to the bottom of Raymond, this time by Jacob Putman. working his way to the inside. 3 wide down the front straightaway with 35 to go. And it's going to be 2 for 2 the
Oh!
Kreyer slams into the back bumper. He's trying to tell him, you're going to overtake me. You better have the speed to drive away from me.
And there's a defensive move by Putman. Kreyer wants to throw him the quorum horn, and same does Aaron Raymond. Off of turn 4, Raymond underneath for the 8th spot. This is nuts. These guys are racing like it's the last lap, and there's only, what, under 35 to go. Oh!
35 to go. More contact between Kreyer and Raymond as it'll be 33 this time by at the line. Looking to potentially make contact again up and out of turn number 4. Kreyer pinching in Raymond. They do rub doors. Right down the front straightaway. They hit again coming down to turn number 1.
I think that rub.
Raymond out of line.
I think that rub into turn 1. Trouble in 1. Is this going to be a caution flag? That was Edmund Jones around. We stay under the green. But I think, though, Nolan, that rub into turn number 1 just before they made the left turn, I think that one was an intentional one. And Raymond, I don't think is too happy about it.
You could tell that was intentional fully. He knew exactly what he was doing there, Kendrick Kreyer. He's a driver that's very deliberate in what he does, right? He never makes a move accidentally. Raymond going to go to the bottom of the 17. He'll retake the number 8 position as Raymond going to try to go for the over-under here on the front straightaway.
Let's watch this one closely into turn 1 as we've got 31 laps to go. Is there a rub? There it is. They rub into 1, and Kreyer takes it. This one may not be over yet. Again, on board with Raymond. I think he may know Kendrick's game by now.
You think?
We'll just have to see. 30 laps to go. Still continues to be 1, 2, 3 Gulf Coast. Trevor Edwards, Corey Bodie, Gene Denmark. I think we expect here Bodie and Denmark to just stay patient and try and help the 98 get a win. Or if not, one of these guys at least in victory lane.
Aaron Raymond works to the inside as well, trying to get to him. He'll get to the back bumper of Kreyer. That shoves Kreyer forward.
Oh!
Ethan Brewster as Brewster works to the outside, and here comes Kreyer down to the bottom. Kreyer's trying to run away from Aaron Raymond here. Raymond is going to keep on knocking on the door of Kreyer until there's no door left to knock on.
If I'm Brewster, maybe let the 2 cats go by, because these 2 cats may turn into a fist fight. Let's see here. Bumper. Tried it. Tries the bumper again off for 4. Raymond underneath. Looks for the spot.
Kendrick Kreyer works to the inside. Contact again.
They punch him in the wall.
Kreyer into the wall. Raymond down to the bottom. This fight is only intensifying with aggression. Trying to get back around to the inside line. Less than 30 laps remaining. As Kreyer to the bottom, and Aaron Raymond trying to get back to him, nudges him up the hill in 1 and 2.
I wish we could watch this race for the lead, but this one is a whole lot more exciting into turn 3. Raymond moves Kreyer up the racetrack once again. Eldred takes away the 9th spot. Palantir to 10th. Brewster bobbled. Oh my goodness! Kreyer hooked Raymond. There was payback. Caution waves with 25 to go. Oh,
that was intentional.
My
no way that was
goodness.
There's no way that that was not 100% intentional on behalf of Kendrick Kreyer. Made the little twitches of the wheel left and left. He knew exactly what he was doing in that deal.
How in the world do you do that if you're the points leader? That may cost him a lot of points.
No kidding. I'm surprised that wasn't an instant disqualification, to be quite frank.
We'll have to see what race control does with that. With the 2 racing hard. Raymond's going to be furious about that. Oh, and he got T-boned.
Oh, yeah, huge hit. Let's get a look on board 17 when we can, because it is a damning look from inside the car.
We will watch in just a moment, but first, leaders are in for what's likely their final stops of the day, and we'll have to see what happens here with the 17.
There's some remarks being thrown in the text chat of this one as Kreyer will overshoot the box. Of course, iRacing does have both text chat and vocal chat, so while there's no vocal words going on, the words in the text box are speaking volumes right now on behalf of Aaron Raymond. Not happy at all, understandably so. You could tell that was coming, though, right? I mean, with all that escalation over the last 5 laps, though, there was no way that wasn't going to end like that.
So we'll have to see what happens. All right. We're going to watch a couple onboards here. And I think they just DQ'd Kendrick from the event.
He has. Kendrick Kreyer disqualified from race number 3. That is critical.
And
that
the chances,
is absolutely massive.
And the chances for the 3P are over. That wheel just turned to the left.
Watch this one here.
Let's watch Raymond. This is the perfect shot.
Yep. I mean, look at that.
Totally uncalled for.
Even from that, it's so obvious.
Totally uncalled for, and that just ended Raymond's chance of a win. But this could also possibly, too, when you think about it, I would have to double check the point system with how it works, but you know, Travis Sukup came in just over 40 points back. He restarts in the 13th position. If he can make his way back up to at least the top 5, he could get the points lead by the end of the night. We'll just have to see. So, we had a little bit of strategy take place under that caution flag. 5 drivers decided to stay out. Trevor Edwards restarts in the 6th position. And so it's Bob Eldred, Matt Pelletier, Kenny Tripp, Steven Rex, Jim Johnson that decide to stay out. And let's remember with Eldred, last week he tried to play strategy at North Wilkesboro. Unfortunately, did not work out his way. Kenny Tripp nearly got on the podium last week at North Wilkesboro, but lost it out just barely. And he wants to get back on it after a tough finish for him last week that actually also led to a points deduction for some of the post-race festivities that were on the broadcast.
I'm speechless. I really am. I get it, short track racing, right? I know that's a very common mentality, but you just can't condone stuff like that ever, if you ask me.
We're back to green, 19 to go.
Bad launch from Bob Eldridge that time by Matt Pelletier, firing around the outside as there was a bit of a missed shift from Bob Eldred. We'll see Pelletier rocket through into the race lead.
First time today, the 27's out in front. It's 3 wide for 3rd with the 98 making contact with Eldred. Kenny Tripp hangs on to 3rd. Edwards looks for P4. 18 laps remain at Richmond. And here comes Eldred. He wants the spot back. We've got one around across the line. That's Jason Snodgrass. We stay under the green flag as we watch the race for 3rd, Nolan.
Watching the race with the 3rd position, heating up here. Oh, we're going to make contact. Couple of cars going around in the midfield. Brewster's around. So is, I believe, Brady is getting involved.
Snodgrass in the
Multiple
99.
cars around. Billy Snodgrass, the one that went around. Jezebowski also turned. Brewster went for a full spin as well.
9th caution, or check that 8th caution of the day here. Ethan Brewster also involved with right side damage. And the screaming car of Jadzabowski. take a look and show you what happened here on the replay. I think someone just tried to send it too deep. Nope, Johnson with a double kill here, pretty much. So he took out Snodgrass. Luckily, the 14, I think, was able to save it. Nope, never mind. That was Brewster that was also involved. Look at it from our speed shots.
Into the outside wall, and saw a couple of cars going around just outside the view of that shot on board with the pit wall.
It's right on board here with Billy. Focused on the race in front of him. He just got hooked from behind. He's trying to save it. Unfortunately, he cannot, but a nice 360, though. Give him credit.
Yeah. Credit on the field as well for missing him. That could have been a lot worse, considering they were fighting for spots inside the top 10 when that happened.
Let's go to Ethan Brewster.
Word of race control on this is, by the way, a racing incident, so no penalties being issued for this wreck here on this deal. They just made that call over the driver radio. Bit of a hefty lick, but not as hard as the ones we were seeing earlier in this race.
Yeah. Wow, the first miss was good. Second miss just doesn't work for Jazabowski.
Hit that inside wall a good bit too on the right front there.
So again,
right
while
where the pit wall is.
So again, while added, the series is off next week for the 4th of July. However, though, the next race we have could get wilder. We are headed to the Paperclip, Martinsville Speedway, July 11th on Slurpee Day for a night race. That should be a lot of fun to watch, 7:45 p.m. You can watch that right here on both the CRX Facebook page and the Slide Job Racing Network YouTube channel.
It'll be the second fastest paperclip on iRacing, if you're counting the iRacing Super Speedway, which, considering, you know, the iRacing Super Speedway, a 3-mile banked track with the same shape as Martinsville, I think it's no contest in that one. But definitely the real world's fastest paperclip, Martinsville Speedway, and never a race where you have a dull moment.
I mean, there's another paperclip on dirt. It's Port Royal. I don't know if
true. Yeah, I guess Port Royal.
And Williams Grove too.
Yeah, I think Port Royal would just win it out between Williams Grove and Port Royal. I think that would make Port Royal the fastest paperclip then.
Possibly. We'll just have to see. Alrighty, let's try this once again. 13 laps to go. Matt Pelletier, Stephen Rex, row number 1. Kenny Tripp, Trevor Edwards, row 2. Bob Eldred, Gene Denmark, row 3. Jake Putnam and Corey Bodie, row 4. Trevor Bowen, Travis Sukup round off the top 10. Watch out for that 98 closely on this restart.
Pelletier trying to work his way down for the race lead with 12 laps left to go, and just clears from Stephen Rex. To the inside goes Kenny Tripp, trying to get up and around. Stephen Rex will do so, as here comes Trevor Edwards now making it 3 wide.
He wants to move up there with those 4 fresh tires. Underneath for second on Kenny Tripp. Can he make the pass work in the corner? The answer is yes, but he can't clear yet.
10 laps to go, this time by Trevor Edwards trying to make his run back for the race lead. Tripp working the top, but he's no match for Trevor Edwards on the inside line. This is good news for Pelletier, though, who's continuing to pull away as Edwards and Tripp bang doors running down to turn 1.
One up in the wall in the corner. That's the 11 of Stephen Rex, and he's got front bumper damage on it while he was going straight, and he's got a tire down on that number 11. I don't know how that happened. Hopefully he can take that one off the racetrack, which he will. Will stay under the green flag. 9 to go. Pelletier trying to hang on. Last time by, Edwards was quicker by just about a 10th. Watching the race for the 5th spot. That's Bodie and Putman. Into turn 3, Eldred up there as well in that 4th position. Trying to hang on as well. 8 to go.
On board with Eldred down to 1 and 2. Really rubbing up against Corey Bodie. Bodie trying to work for the top shelf. 26th spot all the way up to the top 5 now for Bodie. Make that now 4. This hill clear from Bob Eldridge around the outside. Got a fight going on for the lead too as Trevor Edward has caught the back end of Pelletier.
Edwards wants this win badly to give Gulf Coast the win in their debut. Underneath is Pelletier, can't take the lead just yet. Kyle Bartles has crashed. Do we go yellow? He is stopped in turn number 2. We stay under the green flag. That was close.
Oh, contact for the lead. Pelletier being nudged up by Trevor Edwards. Edwards to the bottom. Here comes Kenny Tripp trying to make the run as well for the 3rd position. Side by side for the race with 6 to go.
Edwards has the grip off in turn 2. Pitches Pelletier up. They bang. Once again, Tripp takes it 3 wide underneath. Shallow entry coming to 5 to go. Tripp is sideways. Trevor Edwards takes the lead at Richmond. And Tripp is sideways again.
5 laps left to go. Trevor Edwards has the race lead. Can he hang on to it now? Is going to be the big ticket question. Matt Pelletier works to the bottom, tries to go for the crossover, coming around through 1 and 2.
Smart move by the driver of the 27, but can't pull up to the quarter panel. Trevor Edwards wants to try and run away with it. This time by 4 laps remain at Richmond. Everyone single file as Eldridge loose in 5th. And we got 2 drivers off track. Edmund Jones and Billy Snodgrass. Snodgrass around in the grass. We stay green. And we got Eldred around. Hard in the wall. We're going to overtime. Caution flag waves.
Huge hit on the back straightaway. Was not the only car for Bob Eldred as he got demolished. Believe that was by the 85 of Brandon Kiger that he just clipped onto the back straightaway. Kiger went for a 360 spin. He kept going. Maintained a top 10.
That's a shame for Eldred, looking for a top 5 finish. Had a good one going. Unfortunately, will end without a front bumper. Now look at what happened. I think that we came in late on it. Oh man, Kiger nearly went upside down. Let's I know we don't like to do this, but let's do the rewind. Let's rewind this tape. Let's give us a better idea.
Just got up into the car above him, looked like, and then there's nothing the guy behind him could do.
Let's watch from the speed shot. Oh. Big hit, and everybody just trying to scatter and avoid. So we are headed into overtime, and let's remember here in Colgan Racing Experience, unlimited green-white checkers here. So Trevor Edwards, with fresh tires, is leading, and he's got help behind him in the 44 of Corey Bodie. You know they're going to work together, and Bodie wants to go for second in the end, but at the same time, he also wants to go for the win. Oh, hang on a second. Wait a second.
Oh, boy.
Final lap.
No green-white checkered.
No green-white checkered. This is the final lap. Somebody forgot to turn on the green-white checkered, and so Trevor Edwards is going to run out of here with the win, I believe.
Wow. That's going to be an ending in controversy for sure after this one. A race with the last 20 laps or so littered with controversy. But Trevor Edwards will be able to take the win.
Let's wait and see here what they decide to do. But iRacing has the yellow and the checkers out all together for Trevor Edwards to win in his debut with CRX. But wait, hang on a second. They're doubling up. I think we're going back to green here. I think we are going.
The checker flag's flown.
I think somebody messed up, but CRX Race Control want to double the field back up, and they want to get this race going.
So the race is technically over in the eyes of iRacing. What they're doing is a manual green-white checkered finish on this one. So we're going to have a 2-lap dash after the race is done. They're going to have to sort these results out by hand after this race.
This is about to get wild, folks. First attempt at overtime. We've turned off the leaderboard because it's not what we have on our end. Green-white checker with 2 laps to go. And
Trevor Edwards takes the lead, 2 to go. Corey Bodie works behind him.
3 wide behind them. 68's in the middle, trip up in the wall. Oh, what hard the wall. It's the 72 of Hogan. He saves it. We stay under the green flag. But everyone careered out of control. Hard in the wall, the 68 of Bowen. We stay green. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go as Tripp spins.
Corey Bodie works his way down into turn number 1, trying to see if he can't get up to the race leader. Trevor Edwards with the lead, still down the back straightaway. Here goes Bodie looking for the inside.
Bodie wants to throw the bump and run, but it may be too late. Off at turn number 4, his debut. 1-2, golf course sim racing. Trevor Edwards takes the win. Heavy licks at the end of this one.
Wow. That's a finish and a half right there. I haven't seen a league do a manual green-white checker like that before. That's going to be a headache for race control to figure out the running order at the end of this one. But hey, they'll find a way. Where there's a will, there certainly is a way.
So Trevor Edwards wins in his debut. He's about to do some donuts. A 1-2 finish for the organization. I don't even know who came in third.
I'll try to get a look on that. I might be able to tell you here in just a second.
We'll be able to get it going with here when we'll have to fast forward here.
I believe it was Pelletier. Pelletier hooked Putnam coming off of turn number 4 and sent him into the outside wall. That's what caused Pelletier to take up the podium finish. So Pelletier from Bodie from Edwards.
Alrighty.
Will be your podium drivers.
So again, we will not show you the race results as those are not the official results. We will get your top 3 all loaded in here in just a matter of moments. So again, moving everybody into the broadcast room right now. Still waiting for Matt Pelletier, but I guess what we'll do is we will go from first all the way down to third, and we'll begin by talking with your race winner in Trevor Edwards. What a win, man. How about it?
Yeah, kind of showed up like 2 minutes before qualifying. They asked me if I'd run it, so I told them I would, and worked out pretty well, I think.
Walk us through the strategy late in the race. I think out to that long run ended with the caution flag. You take 4 tires. Did you feel like you had what it would take to make your way back up to the front?
I knew that me and Bodie are probably the 2 fastest cars on track, but it was going to be if we could get a long enough run, because it took about a lap to, get up RPMs and power and everything to be able to even set up passes. It was super hard to do it on a get-up lap. So we knew we needed at least a little bit of a run to get there, but we knew, we were probably the fastest cars, so we had the speed to do it, just know if we were going to have time.
Have you ever seen a finish like that before as well, where it's a manual green-white checkered attempt to make sure that this race finishes the way it does?
Yeah, back in the old days when there was no green-white checkers on iRacing, yeah, I seen it then, but I hadn't seen it since. It was just they said new league, settings were a little bit wrong.
Well, a 1-2 finish for the Golf Course Coast Sim Racing team in their iRacing debut. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that they let me come out here and run this car.
Well,
JJ Day was supposed to be in the car, and they, messaged me last minute to get me come out to drive this Gulf Coast Sim Racing Cadillac and Johnny's RV.
who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Johnny's RV, Gulf Coast Sim Racing, Elite Performance Industries. I wouldn't know these guys if they weren't all part of EPI. We've been building something special over there, everybody at the shop, Cottle Captures, and you guys for broadcasting it. I appreciate you guys doing that.
Alrighty, man. We'll let you go. Congratulations. Great job tonight.
Thanks, man.
That's our winner, excuse me, Trevor Edwards. Second place finish is Corey Bodie, or we'll confirm the last name. Corey, how do you pronounce your last name? Just want to make sure. Corey, you got us?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. You got me?
Yep. How do you pronounce your last name?
That's Bodie.
Bodie. Okay.
Hey, we were right.
We had it right.
You were right. I was impressed.
All righty. All right, Nolan, this is all you.
Well, Corey, you take it home in that second position. It was an unorthodox way to end the race, but it still allowed you to pick up that second position. Kind of walk us through then how this race went down from your eyes.
Yeah, I got pinched somebody in the heat race and got turned around. Completely my fault. So we started deep and just knew tire management was huge as well as keeping pace with the draft. I knew as long as we could save, get up front early, we would be okay. And then honestly from there, it was just smooth sailing, just try to race everybody clean. I got in the back of the 52 a little bit out of 4, got off, let him save it, and try to go about it a clean way. So, but it was a fun race. Absolutely, I can't thank you guys enough for putting it on. It was a lot of fun.
Obviously, we looked to the last lap there. You were right up the bumper of Trevor Edwards. Did you ever think about trying to get to him to move him out of the way?
I did, but he gave me some pointers when I was kind of coming through the field. So I got a lot of respect for Trevor, and like I said, it was very last minute. JJ had something come up with his son. It was kind of a thank you, and he raced me clean and helped us all race. You know, even me and Jonathan and Gene and everybody. So, not really, kind of team racing there.
Of course, we look forward to 2 weeks from now when we go back racing at Martinsville Speedway, with us taking a 1-week break here. What do you think the goal is going to be as we swing out to the paperclip?
1, 2, 3, my friend. 1, 2, 3. We had high hopes coming into this and look to carry the momentum. It looks like Martinsville's open, so we'll do some homework based off of tire results here and see what we can come up with.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck then 2 weeks from now at the Martinsville Speedway. For now, though, thanks for joining us up here from the Richmond Raceway. Congratulations again on that podium.
Thank you, guys.
So that's Corey Bodie, our second place finisher. And we do not have Matt Pelletier with us, our third place finisher. So with that, we will put our broadcast to a close here. Nolan, before we end this, not only we would like your final thoughts, but also the channel that you have. You've got another series starting up, I believe, next week, if not 2 weeks from now. So you'll be parting ways with CRX, but we're looking forward to seeing what happens on your Tuesday broadcast coming up.
I'll be definitely missing this one. It's been a fun ride for the 2 races I've been able to attend. I'm a bit sad I couldn't attend for more of this, but hey, who knows? Maybe in the future I'll be able to make my return. But yeah, thank you so much. It'll be no doubt a good run for me when I start my thing up here in about 2 weeks elsewhere.
Absolutely. Well, we got Martinsville in a couple weeks from now. This one is going to be, I think it's going to be crazy, to say the least.
Understatement and a half. Martinsville, never a dull moment at the world's fastest paperclip, and it's going to be just as fun of a race when we go racing over there 2 weeks from now with the Street Stock Series. And I can tell you right now, it's going to be a lot of beating and banging and a lot of hurt feelings.
Final thoughts on tonight?
Race Control's got a handful to work out tonight. That's all I can say. They've got a lot of work ahead of them. I have a lot of respect for what they'll be able to do, and I have no doubt they'll be coming back just as good as ever next week.
Absolutely. All right, with that, we're going to sign off here for tonight. So glad you could join us all night long on the Fly Job Racing Network and the CRX Facebook. On behalf of Colgan Racing Experience and Robert Colgan and his talented crew, I'm Marty Scala. On behalf of Nolan Rumpo, as we sign off, congratulations to Trevor Edwards. He wins at his debut. So long, everyone.